The military is actually offering some of this now. More counseling, longer assignments. Sometimes all it takes is just listening to what we say and considering our feelings, like the general did when he told his kids they were moving again.
And my second daughter said, well, when are we going to move? And I said, oh, well, we're going to move in June so that we can have everything all squared away. See, I just thought this was perfect. And she started crying. She said, you don't understand. She said, when we go someplace, people have their groups that they run around with. And if we go someplace in June, okay, school doesn't start until September. And we're outsiders. All summer long, we're outsiders. And it's only when school starts that we're then integrated and we meet friends. So it's lonesome. Why in the world are we going in June? Why don't we go in August, the end of August, so that we go out there and bingo. See, that had never dawned on me.
I think in some ways the military could do more to recognize folks who've grown up military for what they've done, but I'm not sure how to go about doing that without it costing the taxpayers money. Again, for the military, how does it relate to their mission? How does it enhance their mission?
I absolutely believe that the entire family serves in the military.
You know, are we going to get that knock on the door, that phone call, that letter that lets us know that it's all over? I mean, we weren't on the front lines, but we were definitely there going through that conflict right with him.
I'm a little bit torn on whether or not I would have wanted formal recognition. You know, acknowledge it throughout the time our dad is away for 2 months. Acknowledge it throughout the time where we're being uprooted in the middle of the school year for a second time to go to a new school. Acknowledge that I may be 11, I may be 10, I may be 13, but my life has been dedicated to you because my dad's life is.
Olga's daddy figured it out without an official directive. He used his own promotion ceremony to thank his family for all they'd done.
He said, I would like to dedicate each point on this star to a member of my family because of everything that they've sacrificed for me to be where I am today. My children and my wife have moved so many times. They've given up so many friends. They've lived so many different places. And I know that they think that I don't know what it was like and how much they sacrificed. But the truth is I do know what it was like. And I know that I couldn't be where I am today without them. Any kind of feelings of, I don't say resentment, but any kind of feelings about it just kind of ended. I think that's just all I really needed.
I do believe my father did the best he knew how. He did what he thought was best. I think in general, once you come to that belief about your parents, you can forgive them for all the damage that they caused you or that you had to overcome in your own life. I feel like everybody's kids are going to be on the couch for some reason or another. But did my dad love us? Absolutely. That's why he had such high standards for us. Because that's what he thought would get us through life the best. That if he parented in that way, that was going to serve us best. And he's not wrong. I'm very successful. If he had been different and hadn't had standards, who knows what I'd be doing.
There are life-changing skills many of us need to learn that have nothing to do with other people and everything to do with ourselves.
The skills that I'm talking about are the ability to dream dreams and to have complete confidence that whatever it is that they want to do, they will be able to achieve. And the ability to set goals based on personal needs and wishes. When you're brought up in the military, there are goals. It's very goal-oriented, but the goals have to do with the military.
The skill we need that's hardest to learn and paradoxically the easiest to achieve is simply to let go of things we can't control. But first we need to learn to say what we feel, like the general's daughter, Dr. Pressman, counseled, who was estranged from her perfect, quote-unquote, family.
And it was a perfect family, and they always looked perfect, and they did everything perfectly, and she was angry all the time.
But she also realized this wasn't working real well, so she went back home to visit. She told her parents about an environmental lawsuit she'd won.
And her mother said, "That's nice, dear," and got up and made another pot of tea. And her father said, "Well, I wouldn't have expected less." And she said that she just sat there and stared at them and didn't say a word, and they both looked at her, and then they kind of got busy. Then she said, you know what I want? I want the two of you to sit down. I want you to hold each other's hands, and I want you each to hold my hand, and I want you to listen. Really listen to me. I am 37 years old. I am a very successful lawyer. I have had 2 unsuccessful marriages. I really want children, but I'm scared to death to have them, and I desperately, just once, would like your approval. I would like you to say, we're proud of you, we think you're a good person, and we love you. And she said her mother burst into tears, and her father got up, went into the other room, and she thought, this is just never going to work. And he came back in, and he had tears in his eyes, and he said, I'm sorry. You're all of those things.
I believe my brothers think and thought for years, and that's why I think they have more trouble with these issues than I do. They always expected that somehow my father would see the truth. If they talked long enough, Daddy would, throw himself at their feet and ask for forgiveness. I just realized that was just not going to happen and moved on.
I felt blessed that we were able to reconcile at some level, literally on his deathbed. It was the only way I guess he could say it, but literally hours before he passed away, he looked over at me and he grabbed my hand and he said, love you, man, and I just, that was just washed over me, and I can't think of any other time where my dad physically said, I love you in any way.
One of the ways that we worked through that type of problem was one night we got drunk together. And we sat down and we're saying, I told my father, these are the things I used to do and everything like that. And he would say, well, these are the things I expected from you. And so after we sobered up the next day, a lot of things were just removed from that. So it was good.
A lot of times people ask me, what was it like growing up a military brat? Was it good? Was it fun? Or was it sad? Was it tough? I would have to say growing up a military brat were all those things.
I wouldn't trade my military childhood for anything. I think it's been an excellent preparation for the real world. It's given me real skills. One of the biggest of those is the diversity of views that I have. Feeling intensely patriotic and loyal to my country, and yet having a worldly view, a world mindset. Where I do have friends, I'm intensely loyal. I think I'm an orderly person, I'm a disciplined person, I'm an assertive person. Feeling as though there is nothing that you couldn't accomplish. Being a survivor, making friendships fast, and then having to deal with the brokenness of that and learning how to heal and heal quickly. I've been exposed to so much. I feel so well-rounded. I've had the best education as I've traveled all along. And there's nothing I would trade for having that kind of a richness of experiences.
It was a rich experience for me as well. It taught me courage and tenacity and honor and duty. And the value of human life, ironically enough, all human life in every country, not just the people who look like me or think like me. And like my daddy and his daddy before him, I served my time as a brat and as a soldier, and I don't regret a minute of it. But in the end, I chose a career other than the military. It took a while, but I finally made a living out of songwriting, much to my mother's chagrin. Why did I choose music? I guess it chose me, really. It was how I thought I could make the world a better place, just like my daddy tried to do. There are no ceremonies to mark the end of our careers as military brats. We simply walk out into our destinies, into the dead center of our lives, and try to make the most of it. Our greatest tragedy is that we don't know each other. I've imagined we could all meet on some impeccably manicured field. To the ancient beat of drums, we could pass by those erect and silent fathers who would salute us one by one, and in that salute, thank us for our fortitude and courage, our generosity and long-suffering. But most of all, for something few military men have ever acknowledged. Military brats, my lost tribe, spent their entire youth in service to this country, and no one even knew we were there.
Sunset on the highway to old Mexico, ruby like the wind upon my face, thunder from a storm on the horizon far away, ruby cut directly to the chase. She said, anywhere you're going, baby, you just gotta know I'm on your side. I always was. When you climb up on the stallion, you are bound to let him take you for a ride. All the way, I know for you, and you know you can count on me, baby. We used to be worth fighting for, so tell me, are we anything like anything we used to be? Tried to make believe before the fall. Tell me how the hell you keep your spirit, remember spirit, strong enough to answer to the call. Ruby closed her eyes and faced the heaven. She said, take me to the stars one more time. I was doing